If you're a worrywart, you're not alone, but you could be making worries worse with your own mind. We're going to show you how to break that cycle and get on a more positive trend.
Yeah, it's a good thing. A lot of people worrying. So, welcome back. Do you worry about money, your work, maybe your kids, or another family member? Our next guest says, stop it. International worry expert Ocean Palmer reveals step-by-step in his new book, Managing the Worry Circle, how to improve your life by worrying less. Welcome. Thanks for being with us.
Hey, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right, explain what the worry circle is. What do you mean by that?
Well, the worry circle is an imaginary oval inside each of our minds that collects all the things that we worry about. And the basic premise is that because we're human, we're going to worry, and the worry circle stays full at all times, but what we worry about comes and goes. So the art becomes, how do you manage that?
And you say that there are three kinds of worries.
Yes.
What are they?
Yeah, people will worry about three types of things. Things they can control with their own actions and behaviors, things they can influence, and things that are beyond their control. And how the mind processes those three things is radically different.
All right, so a lot of people right now worried about the economy, worried about their own situation, about paying their bills.
Right.
That's something that could be a good worry because it's within their control, right? They could get a job, they could take action to fix those things.
Yes, absolutely. Some worry is really, really good because it triggers us to take action. And so sometimes it's a catalyst to positive change. So when we worry about things we can control, this is good. Those things belong in the circle. The other things we tend to think in the worst possible negative extreme, which will never happen, and therefore they're toxic. Get them out of your head. Don't even let them in there.
Give us some examples. What shouldn't you be worrying about? What's bad and toxic?
Oh, I think macro, for example, right now the big one's macro, the economy. You know, I mean, people can't control that individually. And so but people, you know, and then if they're out of a job, we've all been looking for every job we ever got. Right? And that'll happen for millions and millions of good Americans now. So don't dwell on that. You know, I mean, what we want to do is focus on what we can fix and deal with it and move forward.
So worrying isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's really when it becomes obsessive and you're worrying about the wrong things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's what's interesting is that about 2 out of every 5 things that people worry about don't belong in their head in the first place. And so it's a great opportunity to get back to center, get happy, get contented, and get balanced again if you purge those things from your mind.
And you know, your book is such an easy read. I was looking through it. I haven't read the whole thing, but you talk about cleaning out your worry circle. How do you do that?
Well, you take ownership. That's the first thing, is that this is important to you. And you understand that what you choose to worry about is up to you. There's good things and bad things. That's what you're going to pick. And then you police that with a certain amount of discipline.
And you talk about drink the Kool-Aid. Well, tell us what you mean by that.
That's sense of ownership. You know, I really urge people to treat their minds like a castle with a drawbridge. And so if you decide this is important for you to get better at, you can do it.
Gotcha. And you know, what is crafting your daily dozen? What do you mean by that?
Your daily dozen is where you sit down and you define 12 points that really define the person you want to become. And they go in order of importance to you from 1 through 12. And then you accurately describe and put them in the right order, and then make your decisions and your worries based on the pursuit of those 12 things, because they've identified a roadmap for you where you want to go. And it's a great opportunity for you to get balanced.
What types of familial worries are common, environmental worries? You talk about these different types of worries.
Yeah, there's 7 primary categories of things that people will worry about, and they start with your personal and then go to your relationship things, your familial things, environmental, work, money. Money's actually the biggest one of all. So there's a series of categories. It's all predictable. So learn more about this stuff and you can manage it better.
Gotcha. Okay. And you know, we were talking a little bit about my grandmother used to, you know, worry. I used to say, you know, Grandma, what's wrong? And she'd say, oh, I'm worried about Johnny, or I'm worried, you know, my cousin, and I'm worried about this. But those are the types of things, you know, you shouldn't worry necessarily or obsess about other people's problems or about things that you can't control, right?
Well, yeah, and
that's
best
one
case,
of the main points.
Yeah, best case in a thing like that, and parenting is a great example. The best thing is you can influence that. And so the way I urge people, coach them to treat influence issues is there's some element of that you can control, and there's a large part of it that you can't. That's how come you can only influence it. So I want you to carve out the piece you can control and own it. And then the rest of it, get it out of the worry circle. It doesn't belong in your head.
So open up that drawbridge and let that stuff out.
Sweep it out. Sweep it out. Absolutely.
All right. And you know, talk about a little bit about, you know, a few easy tips. How can people manage their worries?
Well, again, it's going to start with a personal choice that this is important for you to do. The other thing I think you need to do is you need to be very aware of what it is specifically you're worrying about. And I urge people to write it down in a big circle. Empty your head. Take it from your head down onto a sheet of paper, study it, and then if it's something you can control, you circle it, and you own it. If it's something you can only influence or can't control, you strike it out. And that physical exercise of doing that, of transferring it from your mind to paper and studying it, it gives you a great relief and a great insight, because now all of a sudden you know what's preoccupying your mind. And this is the first huge step toward learning to discipline yourself with how you process these things.
All right. Ocean Palmer, the book is Managing the Worry Circle. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks a million for having me. I appreciate it.
Great information that a lot of people could use right now, especially in this economy.
Great. Thanks a million.
All right. And, of course, for more information, go to our website, san diego6.com.